Lord, make me an instrument of your peace.
Dove ci è odio, lasciallo seminare l'amore.
Where there is hatred, let me sow love.
Dove ci è ferita,
Where there is injury,
dove ci
pardon.
è dubbio,
Where there is doubt,
ci è disperazione,
where there is despair,
sperare, ci è nerezza, illuminarsi, dove ci è la tristezza,
Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seem
to be consoled as to console.
to be understood as to understand.
Love as to love,
For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned.
it is in dying that we are born
It
again.
is in dying that we are born again.
It is in dying that we are born again.
To eternal life in your strumento della vostra pace. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace.
St. Joseph College Vision. St. Joseph College, a Catholic school, envisions an evangelizing community, providing excellent integral education and involvement in social transformation. St. Joseph Mission, we commit to build the St. Joseph College educative family centered on Christ, to form every member into an integral human person, imbued with the gospel, values, and equipped with excellent quality education, and to be an active agent in making a humane society.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome back again to another week of Knowledge and Wonders in Technology, Livelihood, Education 10. I'm here again, your teacher, Mr. June Tingsoy, and we were going to discuss another great topic for this week. Last week, or last 2 weeks, we were able to tackle about macrame and basketry, its origin, history, basic tools and methods, and to its detailed production process. And now we're going to go back to bread and pastries, where this is probably your most favorite part in the buffet table. So I hope you enjoy and relaxed in your table or area where you're watching this lesson.
So, our lesson for week 6, topic 1, is all about preparing and displaying PD4s. So the objective for this lesson is students will be able to differentiate the three types of PD4s, able to know how to prepare recipes of PD4s. Third is to acquire knowledge on how to decorate PD4s. Then know how to store PD4s. Preparing and displaying PD4s. So desserts, it is very important portion of the buffet table, right? In every events, whether it's wedding, birthday, anniversary, corporate events. So desserts and our conversation piece among patrons. In fact, some patrons keep on coming back to buffet because of the wide assortment of desserts that are featured with the main dishes. Popular among the desserts are assorted PD4s ranging from tin cakes with icings and fillings to fresh and coated fruits. This lesson provides knowledge and insights on how to prepare different PD4s. PD4s is originated in France. When translated, the name means little oven or small oven. PD4 were traditionally made in smaller oven next to the main oven. The cakes were first made during 18th century when French bakers would put them in the oven after baking bread while the oven was cooling from the high temperature. Pinafores are generally small confectionaries, usually serve as appetizer or desserts or snacks and go well with hot coffee, tea, or chocolates or other beverages. They are served at the last phase of a meal as desserts. These after dinner delights extend now to include small fancy, cookie, tiny tarts, and confectionaries, such as choco coated fruits, marzipan, sweet, sweets, and nut confections. Types of petit four. First is petit four sec. Sec means dry. Are created with cookies rather than cake because cakes are moist. Then type of cookie used in shortbread, which is crisp buttery cookie. Petit four sec can also be created using butter or sugar cookie. Example are meringue, macaroons, marshmallow, shortbread, palmier, twirls, lingues de chat, butter cook biscuits, sables, and financier. So here are some samples of dainty biscuits. They are very dry. You really need to have a tea, chocolate drink, or a coffee for that. Juice, maybe. Then baked meringue, my favorite. Macaroons. So there are lots of varieties of macaroons displayed in the dessert tray. Puff pastries. That means that it is hard or solid outside, but inside it's creamy and something with fillings. Cream puff. From the word cream, the inside or the fillings inside are creamy. Eclairs. Okay, eclairs. Pretty for glaze. Glazes means iced. This includes a variety of tiny cakes which are covered with fondant or glaze icing. Most of these have sponge or foam type of cakes as base. These are cut into small squares or into rectangular, triangular, and round. Glazes, the most common types of PD4s that you would find within United States, where Uncle Sam lived. These small pastries are made from sponge cake or pound cake with layers of chocolate, fruit, or buttercream in the center, which can be served as one layer cakes with frosting and decors on top, two or three layers with fillings like dried fruit, jams, buttercreams, custards, chocolate ganache, lemon filling, whipped cream, and chocolate cream. Here, uh, visual example of PD4. So it's one with different kind of cake, probably different kind of flavor, and covered with glazes and decorated by marzipan. Here are mostly chocolate. This one too. They're all yummy. I'm hungry now. P4 sales. Sales means salted or savory. This includes bite-sized appetizer usually served in cocktails, before dinner and in buffet. This includes biscuit, toasted breads with liver eggs, anchovies, bacons, and ham and sausage. So probably appetizer there. So you can observe their bacons there is salty, croissant. Yeah. So it is served before the main course. So yeah, appetizer. Displaying PD4s. This is very important aspect in food business. You should not only be able to produce the best quality products that will cater to established standard, but be able to put an aesthetic display of PD4 products, which is the culmination of the entire process of production. So it doesn't mean that if you created or finished making delectable and yummy beautiful products. However, you should have to display it daintily and attractive to the eyes of the consumer. It spells in the terms of patronage and sales. Your presentation should create a huge impression on customers as to entice or seduce them to buy and eat the products. So, for example, your cousin is having a party, and uh, the suppliers displayed a very attractive display of pitfalls or desserts. So people ask, who is the supplier of your dessert display? So that's a walk the talk product sale. Plan on how to display PD4s. Go over food magazines. So available in all magazine rack in some department stores. So some bakers or chef do their journals. So you may ask for a copy. Do not steal it. Okay. Recipe book. In the library, you can check a lot of recipe book. Visual illustration. So usually, chef do visual illustration, then attach it to their baker's journal for future reference. This will give you an idea and enable you to create your own presentation by putting two or more ideas together. Study the details like kinds of receptacle, their makings, colors, texture, design, shape, and sizes. Experiment doing display from individual to large receptacles. So when we talk about receptacle, talk about container or box or tray. That is also termed as receptacles. Explore and hunt for unusual receptacles you can find in. So the more unique your receptacle is, the more interesting to the eyes of the consumer. Check it some with it in a glassware store, ceramic and china stores, stores selling ethnic, vintage, and antique dishware, stores selling finely crafted metalwares like trays made of sterling silver, gold, chrome, not the Google Chrome, bronze, stainless, bronze stainless steels, combination of metals. Disposable plastic and paper receptacles are very common, available in supermarkets like Metro, Novo, and JNF. The goal is choosing the right container for the right type of PD4s, for the right occasion, and for the right customers. Okay, so actually before you do or to do the PD4 procedures, you have to meet with your client, pre-production meeting. Asked for the ideas that what the client wanted to have in the dessert or PD4 display. So the standard criterions are flawless. So who doesn't want to have a flawless display? Attractive, the contrast and the relativity of the colors that is displayed on the tray. The finely crafted and very elegant. So it is when you say elegant, kada bitong di ka gusto kanon bitaw kay it's because it's very cute and sayangan ka That's for me one of the trademarks sa elegance. Well, pretty for display can be achieved with very neat, hygienic. Of course, it should be clean. Walay daghang mumho. Meticulous. So, intricate. Bisan ang fine details is very, very intricate. So, makita nimo bisag gamay siya nga cookie, ang shape sa flower is very, very defined and sharp looking. Creative handling of products placed properly in containers. Guidelines in PD4 display. Iced PD4s can be in small squares, small rectangle, long rectangle, triangles, round, and even diamonds. PD4 arranged in a platter or tray should be of uniform shape and size. Di papataka-taka o butang sa tray nga lahi-lahi o shape. Kay it's going to be a messy presentation. I'm sure of that. I've been to many parties. And while lami if dili uniform ang trays. You can vary frosting and decors to avoid monotony. So, para di boring imong display, so imo say arrange by clusters. And dapat attractive and contrasting ang mga colors. Kanang lami siya kanon ba? Kanang imong nagtanaw pagli ka no? Or naman siya imong kanon. Yes. Follow the shape of the container when arranging PD4s. Dili mong buot-buot. Go with the flow, go with the current. This allows blending of the shapes of both the products and the container. Lagi na oh. So, uniform ang isang tray para dainty looking. Sa display. Line up PD4s in a long, narrow plate. Even spacing should be observed to allow easy packing of full view of each PD4s. An allowance of 2 inches in between PD4s is an adequate space. PD4s can be placed in individual paper cups or any similar container before arranging them on a tray or platter, or they can be arranged as is. You can create a pattern design or composition when arranging PD4 sec on a platter since they don't have icing on toppings. Icing on toppings, I mean. Like that. This is a receptacle box. So look at that. Uniform ang ilang plate. Narrow. So dapat 2 inches away from each other para ma-emphasize ang shaping. Diba? Use a cake pedestal or an elegant eye-catching arrangement. Use 3-tiered cake trays or pedestal. When we talk about tiered, it means level. First level, second level, third level, or floor. First floor, second floor, third floor. Or pedestal, parang sila. Use cake trays or pedestal to arrange variation of shapes, icing, and decors and flavors. Arrange one type of PD4s for each tier. Di dapat magsagol-sagol. Tanan square. Then, sa second floor, tanang rectangle. Then, sa pinaka-top floor, tanan is ibutang o botilya nga circular. O yan, di kayo sagol-sagol ka ng randomly ra. No, it should be neatly arranged. Number 9, individual plating of PD4s provide excellent opportunities for creating your own design or composition. Use your artistic prowess in displaying PD4s. But do not forget the basic. It should be neat, clean, hygienic, like that. So this is what you call pedestal. Here, level 1, level 2, level 3, or like that. So manindot po stainless steel nga containers sa individualized PD4s. The good and usual companions for a plated PD4s should have sauces, frosting, ice cream, my favorite, then the whole cuts of fruit, whipped cream, mostly fats. Then, of course, our favorite also chocolate. So, in this case, the customers or people can add taste or enhance the taste of the PD4s they want to take. You can provide contrast in colors and shape in container and product. Multicolored PD4s go well with a cream color ceramic or a brown color tray a silver platter or a glass pedestal. So for this one example, lain-lain siya color, sure ko marzipan sila. Ang iyang tray is silver. So, ning enhance ang color sa imong PD4s. Okay. Let's watch this video.
Good afternoon, class. Today I'm going to show you how to decorate and plate Petit. But before that, class, let me remind you that you need to wear your apron, hairnet, and of course, plastic gloves. That is the most important thing to do before we go to our decorating. There are 4 components in plating and decorating Petit, and these are the main item, the sauce, crunch component, and garnish. Class, the first component in plating and decorating Petit is the main item. So here, class, as you can see, I have one Petit and I'm going to put on the plate. So class, the main item should be the main focal point of the dessert presentation. This is the most important, class. So class, I used white plate because it will emphasize our main item or our Petit. The second component in plating and decorating Petit is the sauce. The plated Petit should have up to 2 sauces each. As you can see, class, I have chocolate syrup and strawberry syrup. So class, I'm going to put the strawberry syrup first to our plate. But class, remember that in decorating our Petit, you should have to be awareness. You have awareness, class. Okay. After that, I will put chocolate syrup. Okay? So class, remember this, sauce is very important for dry items like pies, cakes, and of course our Petit. So class, although it can also be added to any dessert. So here it is. And for the third component in plating and decorating Petit is the crunch component. So crunch component is an added component that adds crunch to the dessert. Plus, I chose nips for our crunch component. So I'm going to put it on the top of our Petit. But of course, class, you have to be careful. You have to use your imagination. Class, here it is. Fourth component in plating and decorating Petit is the garnish. So class, the garnish is the last component in plated Petit. So class, for our garnish, I chose the colorful candy bits. I will just put it on the top. Garnish. Voila! Class, we discussed about the 4 components in plating and decorating Petit. And these are the main item, the sauce, crunch component, and garnish. Class, thank you for listening.
Okay.
Hi there, my lovelies. If you don't know what Petit Fours are, they're basically bite-sized cakes. They're really cute and fun to make. I made 4 flavors today: a strawberry cheesecake, a lemon custard, tiramisu, and a hazelnut chocolate. So let's get started. So some of the things you will need are a vanilla cake and cream cheese frosting. I will link the videos for those in the description box below if you'd like to use my recipes. But so this video didn't run crazy long, I'm not going to show the making of those. Now I'm taking my white cake out of the pan and leveling it. You can either eat this top part of the cake as a little snack or save it in a Tupperware and make cake pops with it later. I have this tool here called a cake leveler. I'm going to use it to slice my cake into 2 even slices. You can do this with a serrated knife if you don't have this tool. I'm just going to set the top layer aside. Next I'm going to add a thin layer of cream cheese frosting to my cake. Then I'm going to add a layer of strawberry jam. You can use store-bought or homemade, whatever you prefer. I'll link my video on how to make homemade jam with the full recipe for this video in the description box below. Don't worry about it spilling over the edges of the cake, because we'll be cutting off the ends anyway. I'm adding the top layer of cake and then a last layer of cream cheese frosting. Then I placed it on a baking sheet and then into the freezer for an hour so it has a chance to harden before we cut into it for our squares. While the cake is in the freezer, I'm going to make my icing. So to some powdered sugar, I'm going to add in some milk and give it a mix until it's smooth but still about the thickness of heavy cream. Then I'm adding a drop of pink and red food coloring and mixing that into the icing. Now that my cake is ready, it's time to slice it. I'm slicing the edges of the cake off. And I'm using a roller to measure out where to cut to make your squares. A really great tip is to make sure to clean your knife in between each cut so that each slice afterwards is clean. Then set them on a wire rack on top of a baking sheet. Take one of your cakes and drip icing on top, covering the entire cake. If the icing is hard, just pop it in the microwave for 30 seconds and then give it a quick mix before adding it to your cakes. Then I have here some freeze-dried strawberry pieces that I'm adding to the top. And that's our strawberry Petit 4. Next is our tiramisu. So here I have some mascarpone cheese, which is what is used in tiramisu. And I'm adding some sugar to it and giving it a mix until it's smooth. To my bottom cake layer, I'm going to add some coffee. And then taking the mascarpone cheese and adding a layer of that on top. Lastly, I have the second cake layer, and then a top layer of cream cheese frosting, and again into the freezer for an hour. For the icing, instead of milk, I'm going to use coffee. Just give that a mix until it's smooth. I've already dipped my mini cakes into the icing, and then I'm going to sprinkle some cocoa powder on top. And then with a little chocolate, I'm going to attach a chocolate swirl. Just let those dry for about 15 minutes before serving, and that's it for the tiramisu. Now I'm making the lemon custard for our lemon Petit 4s. So I've added an egg yolk to 3 eggs, and I'm adding that to a double boiler. I'm also adding some sugar and lemon juice. Now here's the tricky part. You're going to want to constantly whisk the ingredients together until it starts to thicken up. This is going to take about 15 minutes, or until it reaches 170 degrees Fahrenheit. You have to consistently whisk the mixture, otherwise the bottom will get too hot and the eggs will cook too much and scramble in the mixture. And then it'll just taste really weird. So now that the mixture is thickened up, I'm adding the custard through a sieve just to get out any lumps that might be there. Then whisk in your butter a few cubes at a time until all the butter has been melted into the custard. Lastly, I'm just going to zest some lemon into the custard. Add some plastic wrap to the bowl, making sure to push it all the way down so that a layer doesn't form on the custard. Then add that to the refrigerator to let it chill and thicken up completely. So just like the strawberry jam, I'm going to add the custard layer after the cream cheese layer. Continue with the same steps as the other cakes. For the icing, I'm using powdered sugar, milk, and a drop of lemon food coloring. As a really fun topping for these, I ordered some edible gold paper on Amazon, and I'm placing a little bit on each cake to give it a gorgeous shine. For the last cake, I'm going to use an amaretto liqueur. If you don't want to use alcohol, then just skip this step. So I'm just brushing the amaretto liqueur on the cake, and then adding a layer of hazelnut chocolate spread, such as Nutella. Then add the top layer of cake, a layer of cream cheese frosting, and then into the freezer. For the icing, I'm using powdered sugar, milk, and brown food coloring. Lastly, I'm taking some of the melted chocolate that I use for the top of the tiramisu cakes and drizzling it over the cakes. Just let them dry and they're ready to serve. Don't those look gorgeous? I hope you enjoyed this video. Please make sure to give it a thumbs up if you did. Also, I'll be doing a Q&A in the next couple weeks, so if you have any questions you'd like me to answer, please leave a comment down below. All right, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you back here next week. Bye, my lovelies.
Bye.
Hi.
Okay, the shelf life of Petit Fours depends on the perishability of its ingredients. The more perishable the ingredients, the shorter its shelf life is. Petit Fours with fillings like custard, whipped cream, or frosting with milk gonna stay long at room temperature. Keep them in vapor and moist-proof containers before refrigerating or freezing it. To stretch the shelf life, it is best to first separate the frosting and fillings from the cake. Second, store them in separate containers. Third, wrap the cake layers or piece in an airtight container or plastic and freeze. So for example, after the birthday party, so kung daghang pang mga Petit Fours or mga desserts nga wala nakaon kay nakalimot ka mga diabetic man day imong mga bisita, so daghang na leftover. So i-separate ang katong mga fillings og another container, then i-wrap ang cake sa airtight nga silupin. So murag tanam siguro machine nga para produce og airtight. You can check that in Lazada or Shopee. Then wrap the cake layers or pieces in airtight container or plastic and freeze. If the cake is already frosted and with fillings, refrigerate it so the frosting will be hardened. Remember, in a room temperature, ang kanang frosted mo melt and mo soggy. So you have to refrigerate again in a lower room in a lower temperature, like 16 to down, para to return to its original hard kanang consistency. Petit Four sec, which includes dainty biscuits, can be kept at the room temperature provided that they are stored in airtight container to prevent sogging. Kung ibutan mo sa garapon, dapat i-seal kasi siya pag-ayo ang takob sa garapon para dili mo yut-yut or soggy. Macaroons can be refrigerated if to be stored for a long time. See to it they are well packed to avoid deforming their shapes. Remember, sa macaroons, ang iyang usa sa ingredient is kanabitong desiccated nga coconut na filling. Kung di siya tarungon og refrigerated, mo ranso siya or marancid. Last part, activity. Check your understanding page A on page 34 sa work text ninyo. Then, sa assessment, answer also, you check your understanding portion B on your page 34 work text. So, you have to cam scan. After you answer it, cam scan, then send it to me. vtmarco86@gmail.com. Then, don't forget to put on the subject, ha? Okay. Then, second part. Sketch a Petit Four presentation that follows the guidelines in Petit Four display. Add colors and labels. Afterwards, explain your presentation in not more than 3 sentences. Please use long bond paper. Long coupon band. So, 13 inches to 8.5 inches. Ha? Kasi may mga na. Long band paper. Ito siya sketch. It's up to you. Mahalag portrait or landscape. Basta kumplito. May color, may label. Medyo man, may label. Afterwards, explain the presentation in not more than 3 sentences. Very concise, brief lang. Okay? So before anything else, you should write your name and section on the comment section to be acknowledged as your attendance. Okay? So thank you and have a